fires. He scored! Oh my goodness! The NLL Game of the Week on TSN is the third and final meeting of the regular season between Halifax and Toronto, but this is a possible first-round playoff matchup as the chase for the championship heats up in Hamilton, where it's Indigenous Heritage Night. Those beautiful jerseys on display, and both teams will not only continue to jockey back and forth on the floor, but jockey back and forth in the standings. Look how close this is. The Thunderbirds, starting 8-1, have now fallen, and the Rock, who have won 3 in a row, continue to stay just ahead. Good evening, everybody. John Abbott with Pat Gregoire for our Game of the Week, and we circled this on our calendar a long time ago, Pat, but boy, is it ever going to live up to the expectations now, as both teams are jockeying for playoff positioning in the standings. This could be a first-round matchup, and there's lots going on around the league as well.
Well, we knew it was going to be a big game. I don't know if we knew it was going to be this big. As we know, Buffalo, Toronto, they're already in the postseason, but that first seed is on the line. And Toronto, they even want home field advantage, even in that second seed. But Halifax, not in the postseason just yet, but if they do win, it looks like they may be hosting that home playoff game.
One of the players pacing the Rock these days is grabbing league-wide attention right now, Latrell Harris, and he might grab it by the season's end as well.
Well, we know Challen Rogers, the captain of the Toronto Rock, won a couple of Transition Player of the Year awards. I think one might be sitting on Latrell Harris's mantle sooner rather than later. But what we've seen over the past few weeks, he's been unbelievable. He's so big, strong, fast, smart defender. Now the transition game is heating up. But how about the stat line, the game he had against the Rochester Nighthawks? He led them in scoring as a defender and also chipped in with some loose balls and caused turnovers as well.
Not the only battle we'll be watching tonight, as the Draw Masters will do their thing for the second time head-to-head this season.
See it, two of the best in the league. And last time these two teams met up, both of them a great battle. They nearly went 50-50. We're in for another good one.
As for the Thunderbirds, we mentioned their hot start to the season. Yes, they have 2 wins over the Toronto Rock, but since the trade deadline, they've been on a slide. They're trying to quickly reestablish themselves here.
Yeah, 1-5 since acquiring Sean Evans, and things have kind of just fumbled. And the only win in that stretch comes against a non-playoff team in Rochester. Just things not really finding their way, and their veterans are going to be the ones that are going to dig them out of the hole. We were talking to Mike Kukurzi earlier this week, and he said our best players have to be their best players. Well, that man right there, Warren Hill, has to be better. Graham Hossack, an all-world defender. He's going to be a guy that's going to slow things down in the back end. Who else but Cody Jameson, one of the best leaders in the game?
To expand on the Thunderbirds' perspective, let's join Ashley Docking.
It is a big-time gut-check game for the Halifax Thunderbirds, who have had a tumultuous 6-week stretch. A logjam of talent when it came to the righties had players, as Mike Kukurzi put it, playing more for the name on the back of the jersey than the one on the front. To rectify this situation, he had one-on-one calls with everybody, allowed players to air their grievances, reaffirmed organizational expectations. He said the conversations were honest, at times awkward, but long overdue. Cody Jameson knows adversity can be a good thing, but says, does it have to happen to us all at once?
Yes, adversity is awesome, but you never want to go on a skid like us, right? So there is a little bit of pressure to dig ourselves out, kind of jump out of this hole that we've created for ourselves. But at the same time, we put ourselves in a good position earlier in the year, winning all those games, and we're still hanging on to that third spot right now with a chance at moving up. And so tonight's going to be a big one against a team that we're battling with for that spot. So I think it's going to be a great game tonight, playoff-like atmosphere.
Intensity, tenacity equals rivalry. It's renewed when we come back to Hamilton for our NLL Game of the Week on TSN.
NLL on TSN is brought to you in part by Alterna Savings. Alterna offers easy, more personal financial services and puts the good in banking. Visit alterna.ca to learn more. By Fanatics.ca, the NLL's home for officially licensed everything. Visit Fanatics.ca today. And by Guaranteed Rate. If you believe it, you can do it. Guaranteed Rate. Believe you will.
A few years ago, Junior B Ontario Championship, Akwesasne played Six Nations, and I guess one guy from each team knew how to do like the smoke dancing.
Whoa.
They geared down.
Oh, that's sweet.
Before the game, and like.
NLL Game of the Week on TSN is also an Alterna Cup battle as we feature two Canadian teams tonight. And look at how close it is. Add another one to the list for Halifax for something to play for as they're looking to win to stay alive. But Calgary right now has the edge. If the Roughnecks can win, they would be the first Alterna Cup champs. As we highlight the Canadian teams across the NLL. Tonight's starting goalies are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Warren Hill, the veteran, trying to help punch the ticket of the Thunderbirds into the playoffs officially. Has the 2-0 record against that man and the Toronto Rock this season, although Rose, 3 consecutive victories for Toronto, allowing them to supersede Halifax in the standings in second place. And Pat, this is as close as we're going to get to a playoff matchup in week 20.
Matt Sawyer just stressed that, yes, this team has been playing so well, but this is a Halifax Thunderbirds team that has had their number at the start of the year. But on the flip side, Mike Kukurzi said that was at the start of the year when we were playing some of our best lacrosse. They need to figure things out because, as we talked about off the hop, you don't want to stumble into the postseason. You want to start playing your best, and yes, having a little bit of adversity is great, but you got to figure it out at some point.
Crew chief tonight, Chris Williams, assistant referee Sean Grenier, along with Jermaine Bailey. Shot clock operator is Mac Abbott. As we are zeroing in on this battle, it went to overtime last time.
Yes.
So crucial, the face-off battle, and so fun to watch. Jake Withers and TD Erlin. Erlin for Toronto, reaching the fist out. They know each other, as you've highlighted, Pat, in the college game. That's just part of the battle that leads its hand into trying to size this one up.
Toronto a little bit of a heavier favorite, but I think that's mostly due to recent form.
Rock are 6-2 at home, 8-2 in their last 10, and have won their last 3. They've been red hot. Thunderbirds desperate for some traction and to refine that form that started the season out of the cannon. Speaking of rubbing shoulders already. Looking for that ball, and unbelievably, a possession hasn't been established. It's just a dogfight right to start things tonight.
These two guys are so good at the face-off. We're going to get another look at it. Jeremy Bailey just saying, all right, guys, let's go toe-to-toe once again. As it's going to be a redraw.
They put him out there. Withers in white. Erlin in the Indigenous Heritage jersey for Toronto. Jerseys, helmets, shorts, all up for auction. TorontoRock.com/auction. Have till Tuesday to make a bid. All proceeds going to charity. Jamieson gets it going for the Thunderbirds. 12 to shoot. Little backhand scoop on the way down. And Toronto able to pick up the ball.
You mentioned Toronto being 6-2 at home. Halifax 3-0 in this building this season.
Schreiber in tight. Nice stop by Hill. Rushing the floor. Thunderbirds quickly ahead. And that one's waved off because of the action in the crease.
Luke Magnan stepping in the crease there, so that one's going to be a no-goal. But as mentioned, 3-0 in this building. They had to play 2 home games while Nova Scotia restrictions during COVID kept them away from there. And then they also played an away game here, so 3-0 in this building.
It's been a bit of a crazy season. Already looks like the triggerman Schreiber up to his old antics as Toronto calling his number a couple of times early. Rock will get this back. Fresh 30. Schreiber makes a move. Slings one across and looking for the quick stick. Down deep, couldn't find it. For Zach Mans. John Rogers lets it fly off the rebound. There's the Rock's first goal. Schreiber will bury to give Toronto a 1-0 lead.
And that is for the solo lead in goals in the National Lacrosse League. 42 goals for Tom Schreiber. This is just ridiculous stuff we're seeing from the man they call Captain America. You see, Challen Rogers takes that shot, and Halifax, all the defenders just look to see where the ball is instead of tracking down the hottest stick in the National Lacrosse League. And Schreiber crashes the net, puts that rebound home, and Warrenhill has next to no chance on an easy shot like that.
42 goals, 74 points for the man they call Captain America. And Schreiber, in the absence of Rob Hellyer, we got to the Halifax absentees, and the likes of Evans offensively. No Hellyer again. Both of those gentlemen on the IR. And so Schreiber factors prominently into any game the Rock will play, but certainly down a player like Hellyer. Challen Rogers takes a peek, swings it in front, and an opportunity for Reinhold. Couldn't find it.
And Challen Rogers, with that absence, will probably be playing a prominent offensive role, but don't be surprised if he goes in reverse transition, gets a couple of chances on the defensive end.
Rose equal to the task on a one-hopper. Challen Rogers to the outside, back in tight, no shot coming. Mans was well covered. There'll be a sprint in transition. Thunderbirds, that one missing the mark for Jamieson. Might give Toronto numbers the other way. Here comes DeSnow, he's gonna carry and shoot, and that didn't miss by much. Schreiber to Craig. Wonderful season for him in Toronto colors. Sitting one shy of 30. Not to be overlooked is Dan Craig. Thunderbirds set it up. Fidel hacked and whacked in tight. And Halifax able to respond.
And if you're the Thunderbirds, you are going to be ecstatic. That Austin Shanks finds the back of the net. It's been a little bit of an up and down last few weeks for Shanks, as it's either goose eggs on the board or he just completely lights up the other team. We see right here, great feed from Fennell, but what a catch. Burns draped all over Shanks in tight, and a great finish by Shanks.
Shanks, who had an assist in the last game in Calgary, deposits, and Hill comes up with a enormous stop as the Rock tried to swing right back in front. Pat Shanks is looking a little different these days as the T-Birds drive the net again.
Chopped off the mullet, got rid of the mustache. He's all business. Looking to turn this season around for the T-Birds.
Yeah, when you're in a funk, you try different things. Driver up top, nice move. Craig, hard down for Dan Craig, and he's got his 30th.
What an unbelievable season we're seeing from Dan Craig, the pride of Shelburne, Ontario. Look at this great ball movement, east, west, back and forth. Little fake toe drag, and absolutely undresses his defender, David Brock, and goes bar Mexico. An unreal finish from Dan Craig. Pretty goal for number 30.
Well, we were hoping this would be a back and forth battle, and hasn't taken long to get into it for these two teams. Rock able to separate. Rogers on the run. Mans will play it back. Oh, little twister spin move there for Craig. Schreiber spots some open floor. Mans in tight. Rogers! Shoulder struck by Hill to keep it out.
Well, it's Latrell Harris picking up that loose ball. Was stuck on offense. Gets it to his offensive player. Gets off the floor. That's a grinder of a shift there.
Hit set by Rogers, allowing Schreiber to pepper one on. Fresh 30 for Toronto. Rhino resets. And Craig delivers again. Back to back for Dan Craig.
Halifax just getting far too aggressive defensively, and when Toronto swings the ball around, they're just going to free up some open shooters. We'll see here. Gillies tries to take away that pass. The slide comes from Nungo Thompson, but that's just too far too of a slide for Nungo Thompson to have to go up top there. And if you give that much time and space for Dan Craig, goal number 31 gives the Toronto Rock a 3-1 lead.
Erlin. I think he drew a couple defenders and now drew Rose to the bench with a delayed call. So Toronto up by a pair thanks to back-to-back beauties from Dan Craig. Go to the power play. We come back. They're at Game of the Week on TSN. Mike Kersey, head coach of the Halifax Thunderbirds, certainly called his team to the carpet a little bit. In fact, as Ashley Docking pointed out at the pregame, Pat called everybody just to get on the same page, try to refocus this group. They're down by 2. I have to think he's still looking for results.
And I think he's obviously not pleased with the results right now, but the effort is certainly there, especially in offense. They can't get panicked. They got to get their looks. They're getting them. It's defensively, though, just getting way too active and getting exposed.
Now have a Toronto power play to contend with. Dawson has it sent back. Dawson. Now Rogers to the side mans. Try to play that into the front for Dawson, but the Thunderbirds will go for a run here.
And that guy right there, Luke Magnan, a big reason why the PK has struggled so much this season is he's been out with an injury. Insert him back, the PK looks a lot better.
Campbell to Fennell, and Fennell's just taking the time he's given here. Shot clock doesn't matter as much for the penalty kill team, and nearly got one off anyway through some traffic, but taking sizable amounts off the veteran Campbell and Fennell.
And a note on that penalty kill, we usually see Jake Withers out there, so he's not on the floor, so he's in the box. So Brad Gillies is taking his spot up top.
Schreiber, a little behind the backer, return to the side. And looking for the Hattie, that one will be denied by Hill.
And that's a look that Halifax absolutely has no problem giving up. A low percentage shot. Warren Hill's going to eat that up all day. Although we did bobble with it, that's a take they're willing to give up.
And just slowly up the floor. 20 seconds left in the penalty kill for the Thunderbirds. Harris trying to stymie Bushi. A little extra bump for good measure. And Trell Harris has been hitting everything offensively, defensively, and everybody in his way lately. Just a beast.
That's putting it lightly.
Dawson. Power play over for Toronto. One shot for the Rock. There's another one, though, after it's expired, and Hill forced to make a good save. Well, action as the benches get quick changes in, and stopped by Rose on a point-blank offering. Thunderbirds reset. Brock will go back.
It's a strong shift by Brock, plays some good defense, gets a shot. Doesn't score, but grabs his own rebound, gets loose ball for his offense.
Good look at Dawson Thien, relative newcomer. And Rose makes a stop. Didn't know where the rebound was, spun around. And how about that little pirouette from Rose to keep it out? Rogers. Lost it, don't see that very often. Campbell up the floor, dishes off. And nearly got it back. Did for the quick stick, nearly buried.
Wow, what a save from Nick Rose. Oh, penalty coming up.
And Shanks is absolutely steamrolled. In case we had to point out where that call was coming from. Nice stop, Rose again. As the Thunderbirds this time will go to the power play.
We've talked about Latrell Harris, Brad Cree, Mitch Desnew, all sniffing around some awards. I think you could even maybe throw in the name of Nick Rose for goaltender of the year, especially over this stretch. He has been remarkable. Everyone's talking about how good they've been in the last few weeks, picking up some convincing victories, but since losing to Halifax in overtime in January, we'll let
5 minutes, illegal body check.
Oh, and that's going to be a 5-minute penalty for an illegal body check. So this, we'll see the replay right here. Shanks gets blown up. And that's probably an unnecessary hit. I don't know if it's 5 minutes, but Chris Williams certainly thinks so.
Thunderbird trying to go to work. Jamieson tests Rose down low. So, as you mentioned, extended power play. Halifax on the defense right now, though, as Toronto take their turn up the floor shorthanded. Mans looks to dish it off. Lost the opportunity on the shovel attempt. Thunderbirds get it back. Uncharacteristical when you look at the Halifax lineup, you think, yeah, there's a team that's going to tear it up on the power play. They're just 3 for 23 on the road all year, and they are dead last overall at 17 for 64. So this has been an area they haven't taken advantage of this season. And no Sean Evans to try and rectify it. There's an opportunity to score on the power play. Peterson will pepper one past Rose. That could be what the doctor ordered early for Halifax.
And keep in mind, Billy Hostravers are going to still sit down in the box, as that is a major. So they're going to get another opportunity here. But this is just simple, just easy ball movement. Theed kind of drags the box down a little bit, and we'll get another look right here. There's next to no room there for Clark Peterson. He just unloads. We'll get the ball right back here, underhand rip, and beats Nick Rose, the former Cornell Big Red, with a big goal.
Possick. Shanks lets the change happen. Jamieson on the power play. Peterson, the goal scorer. Little fake. Keel, Peterson. It's a back up top. Theed couldn't find the angle between the wickets as Rose shut him down. Halifax gets the ball back.
Great forecheck. That's just file that under things you love to see when your skill players battle for a loose ball like that.
Oh, Keo, a little deft shot there. It looked like it was going back to Peterson, but Rose was sharp for Toronto. Penalty kill will extend nearly to the end of the quarter. Lots of like-burning minutes here for Toronto as they try to maintain their one-goal edge. Thunderbirds taking their time. Jamieson lets it rip and ties the game at 3.
Cody Jamieson doing Cody Jamieson things. Quarterback at the top of the power play. And we'll see, just slowly working around. And maybe, John, this is it. Maybe they were simplifying things here on this power play as Jamieson gets the ball and his patented finish right here. Look at this stroke, a thing of beauty, kisses the bar and goes in, and we have ourselves a tie ball game. We talked about this, John. Halifax, Mike Kersey said, we need our best players to be their best players. That has been the case here tonight.
Well, Toronto, who took the victory 11-9 over Rochester, certainly had a much better start, but Halifax has erased that Rock lead and have tied it up in Hamilton. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey continues on Tuesday with the Leafs in action against the Flyers after clinching a playoff spot earlier this week. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on TSN 4 in the Leafs region. See lacrosse grads like Mitch Marner perform on the ice.
John Tavares. Not the John Tavares, but the John Tavares.
Goes without saying. Schreiber. Rogers comes up high. A couple of picks there, didn't work down deep. Now a move by Schreiber. Trying to open it up for Mans, and quick stick unavailable. Rogers gets back to it, just for to shoot. Loose ball now, and the Thunderbirds will pick that up. Withers dishes off.
Much better defensive stand there. They were still playing aggressive, but not getting caught chasing things around. Forced that turnover on Challen Rogers in a very vulnerable spot on the floor.
Jamieson, good vantage point, spreads it all the way out. Peterson, what a move! Dishes to Keogh, his shot blocked in tight. And Harris, the L train coming up the floor quick, distributes. Oh, and Hill nearly got caught in a move down deep with the ball bouncing off of Burns.
How about that back check from Cody Jamieson, the captain? Leaving it all out on the floor here tonight.
Looked like that transition by Harris was going to be another that worked. Toronto, with Rogers being held on to, finds a way to put it in. Muscle man goal for Challen Rogers.
There is no reason this guy's name shouldn't be in the conversation for MVP. When you think about it, most valuable player, the guy will go out the Odor. He'll play out the DN. He'll be on the floor for faceoffs. And look at this move, little toe drag with one hand. No go. Thompson pulls him, but that's fine. We'll get another look. Tiptoes around the crease and fires that right over the left shoulder of Warren Hill. The Swiss Army knife, Challen Rogers, regains the lead for the home side.
Well, we should expect this as well. Just a pure deadlock on the dot. Withers and Erlin again. Shanks, one goal in his back pocket. Campbell. And the veteran moves it along. Fennell, some room. Plays it into traffic. Looked like Peterson might have a scoop, but the Rock steal and head the other way. Then that one off the rear end of Fennell. Gives Halifax time to get back.
Clearly a point of emphasis this week in film and in practice. Forwards getting back in reverse transition. They got absolutely smoked against Calgary in transition. Much better effort here tonight.
Rogers, a blistering drive. Couldn't quite find the handle. It was a 13-8 loss in Calgary for the Thunderbirds after they closed out their home portion of the schedule previously with a win, and then a win against Rochester that you noted in the pregame, the non-playoff team. They're looking for, well, quantity, but in some ways, quality as well, Pat.
Yeah, Micah Kersey really was not pleased with that victory. He said it wasn't pretty, but it was gritty, and they'll take it. But they were hoping to build off that. And unfortunately, they were handed a loss in Calgary. But again, they're looking to heat up before the playoff starts. And it starts with a huge match here tonight.
Dan Dawson already reached legend status a while ago, but cemented that in the win against Rochester. Officially passing John Tavares. All-time assists, and as Schreiber shimmy shakes, puts one on. Pretty funny comment from his brother who was facing off against him. Hossack, lots of room on the break. Denied by Rose. Just as the quarter ends,
Man, Nick Rose is on another level. That is a huge stop to keep this a one-goal game in favor of his side.
It has been a terrific start to this one in Hamilton. Rock jumped out early. Thunderbirds battled back. And Rose keeps it a one-goal lead for the Rock at the buzzer to end the first. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, you just come to me briefly on camera, yeah? Okay.
I'll try to hurry up, but not rush. Yeah. The city of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. It's covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We recognize we must do more to learn about this rich history of this land so we can better understand our roles as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. Indigenous Heritage Night in Hamilton. For more on that, let's join Ashley Docking.
Thank you so much, John. There's no way that you can miss the beautiful purple and pink colorways that the Toronto Rock are wearing. These jerseys designed by Indigenous artist Tracy Anthony, are going to be auctioned off for a Smile Zone Foundation charity supporting a health community center in Six Nations, Ontario. There are a ton of details on these jerseys that make them very, very special, including some of the beadwork that's on the cuff. They emulate the wampum belt designs that include 4 colors of the medicine wheel: red, black, white, and yellow. Purple, of course, is an important color for the Haudenosaunee people, and it's used extensively in wampum belts. John?
Thank you so much, Ashley. They are brilliant. And that was a great explanation of all the hard work that went into designing them. Withers breaking free, doesn't want to take it. And Rose upset after making that stop. Another to start the quarter, just like he did to finish it.
14 saves on the game already, John. He's been absolutely dialed.
Rock looking for that opening, and Hill slides down to push over the right knee against Dawson. Rogers, the captain.
Penalty coming up again.
Yep, Rose to the bench. Dawson patrolling, looking for some setups. Now has the extra attacker to work with. To the side. Craig missed it. Rogers thought about it. Mans could not locate. Rock back to the power play.
Maybe Colton Armstrong, who rejoins this roster after being out on the COVID-19 protocol list. It's going to be an illegal cross-check. So we talked about the struggles, John, of Halifax. We'll see that penalty on the screen there, but we've seen the struggles for Halifax on special teams. Toronto's been unbelievable on the power play, especially in this building.
20-plus goals on the power play for Toronto this season in this house. Looking for another, and Dawson scores! Quick work on the power play to jump up by 2.
Dawson proving, despite being 40 years old, he can still get it done in the National League. big pick coming up right here on Scott Campbell. And that pass comes across, and it's just a simple overhand shot. Warnell probably going to want that one back. Seeing that again, but again, the ball movement just has Halifax chasing all over the place. I don't even know what shape they're in on the kill there, as it's too much time, too much space for Dan Dawson, the legend.
Third power play goal of the year for Dawson. 14th on the season. The Snoo takes a peek. Sets the pick as Reinhold doubles back, charges, and scores! Reed Reinhold with a highlight reel goal.
Slow to get up. Take your time, Reed. You've earned a break here after this highlight reel goal. He's going one-on-one with Graham Hossack, the three-time Defender of the Year. Grabs a hand, and it's a one-handed scoop in the back of the net. Little fake. Beats his man down low. One hand on the stick and beats Warren Hill. We'll get one more look right here. Hossack, one hand on his stick. There's the hold there, and he battles through. And like a pizza in the oven, shovels it in the back of the cage. It's a 3-goal lead for Toronto.
Great chance to talk to Reinhold earlier this week. Oh,
Not
we're
so fast, John.
gonna contest this one. Reinhold telling us how much he thought of this current team, how much belief there is among the rock in that room. And Micah Kersey is going to try and take that highlight reel goal right back off the board.
We'll see. So there's the hold. Any feet there? Ooh. Based on that look there, I think he's going to be clear. I think we'll get a great look here, John. So his feet's clear. He's good there. Knee is down. But I think the ball's already in the net. I think that's going to stand as a good goal. Of course, keep in mind, it has to be conclusive evidence. It has to... And we're getting an explanation here. So my guess is that they might wave off the goal, but because there was a hold on the play, they could be explaining that it's the power play is going to be awarded to Toronto, but the goal is going to be taken off. We'll have to wait and see, but just based on how quickly the officials ran over to each coach to explain. But instead of me speculating, why don't we let Chris Williams let us know?
We have no challenge on the play. It was past the 35 seconds. We got a good goal.
There you go. There you go. So
Reinhold will take it.
Took too long, 35 seconds. You have until you can throw that red flag.
More on the goal scorer. Let's go to Ashley Dawkins.
Yeah, John, you alluded to our conversation with Reed Reinhold before the game. He said he really feels like this Rock team is different than something he's experienced with them before. In the offseason, he contemplated with Jamie Dowick about him actually moving and playing for a team out west, but ultimately wanted to play for Toronto. It's a team he loves and believes in and really feels like they can win.
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, Pip Meadows, BC boy. Hard to fathom him in other colors. Such a heart and soul piece of this Rock club. To Snoo will carry up the floor. And furthermore, said one of his least favorite things is playing against Graham Hossack. Well, he had his number on the last one. Did Reed Reinhold. A rip by Craig off the pipe. And Hossack absolutely leveling the boom on Rogers. Thunderbirds go the other way. Seen it all in the first quarter and a bit here in Hamilton. All lined up for Brock to try and tickle some twine, but could not find the proper opening. Nice drag save by Hill, and right back the other way we go.
That was a ridiculous feed from Brandon Slade.
Armstrong tried to drive one home, had to give it up. And back the other way in transition to Snow, looking for Harris. Just a bobble there, or he might have had another look.
An absolute track meet between the two teams, and I think that favors Toronto. They like to play with pace. So does Halifax, but they like to slow things down when they choose to. They don't want to force things.
Nifty move, that caught Hill in the mass. He's going to shake that off, but up to his knees slowly is the Thunderbirds netminder. Able to catch his breath with the play at the other end.
And here's a fine example. They slow things down, allow the offense to get out. It's been a while since they've had an offensive stand.
Austin Shanks in, stop, Rose, rebound. Thunderbirds got back to it, but Desnu able to get the hooks out. And Slade will pursue. Dancing Dan Craig. Dish is over. Low ball shot. Schreiber with a seeing eyeball, able to find another to make it 7-3 Toronto.
Goal number 43. And Tom Schreiber continues to abuse the back of National Lacrosse League nets. We'll see just a little jab step, and there is basically no space there. We'll see him right here. Little jab step, just enough space, but how about Dan Dawson with that pick there, freeing just enough space, shooting through traffic. And that's the thing, Schreiber, it can be overhand, sidearm, underarm, it doesn't matter. Schreiber has become one of the most deadly shooters in the game of lacrosse.
You mentioned 43. Well, he's one shy of the hat trick. He's made those look ordinary this season. And he's already gobbling up the points. Peterson's drive went wide. Thied tried to follow up. A little bit angry as Dawson Thied, newcomer in the Thunderbirds threads, wearing 51. He can dish it out. Coming over from Panther City. Peterson all alone. Good look, and Rose makes that look routine. It has been a rock start to the second. 3 goals has them up 7-3.
We know that all NLL teams need their big goal scorer.
Take that night like they used to. They don't snap that snap like they used to. They don't snap that snap. They don't click they clap like they used to. They don't click they clap. They don't touch that back like they used to. They don't.
We know that all NLL teams need their big goal scorers, defensive bodies, and their big guys between the pipes. But specialized positions such as the face-off and transition have evolved immensely since the early 2000s. In the 2021 draft, we saw 15 transition players enter our league. And with over 300 goals this season in transition, we know that that position matters. The face-off position has also exploded as we've seen field guys like Trevor Baptiste and Joe Nardella take their skills inside the box. Tonight, we're treated to two of the best in the business, Jake Withers and TD Erlin. I'm Mackie Jenner, and that's this week's Lax Fact.
Mackie always knows what's up, and she is right on the money again with these two.
And these guys, again, close 7-5 in favor of Jake Withers, who leads the league in face-off percentage. But the thing with Jake Withers is, not only is he going to win you a bunch of face-offs, he's one of their best defenders as well. TD Erlin, new to the box game, still learning the defensive systems as well.
Shanks to Peterson. Breaks away. No long-range look. Just floated on to Rose.
Just a little bit of a miscommunication there, as Jamieson was looking for the flip pass, and Eric Fennell had no idea where it was going.
To Snoot. On demands. Rogers. And back up top. Craig. Over to Schreiber. Lets it fly. How did he put that one in? The hat trick for Schreiber. Are you kidding me? Captain America.
The way this guy is shooting, he might hit a 50-burger on the season tonight. Who's even thinking about shooting from this angle? Just a little bit of space, and just a little is too much when you're defending Tom Schreiber. At one point, he was the best playmaker in the sport. I think now he's turning into one of the best sharpshooters in the entire game.
Aaron Bold will see the light of day in this game as Schreiber chases Warren Hill to the bench. Bold with an emotional victory earlier in the year on the game of the week. Halifax at home against Vancouver for his first win this season, and now forced into action. Gives us a little insight into how the Thunderbirds have fared at this point in the season. Trying to change things up. Fennell spin move, shoots! Tough stop for Rose, but he finds a way to make it.
And again, the offense, they're getting their looks. They're just not capitalizing on any of their chances. That's a prime scoring spot on the floor. Just need to fine-tune their shooting. It's a tall hill to climb.
Bolt from St. Catharines, looking to be tested, is right away, and he'll make the stop. That was such a big win for Bold that we had the luxury to have a front seat to.
Yes. Penalty coming up to, I'm going to say this, Dan Dawson. You don't see that all too often from the veteran, but this is a timely power play here for Halifax. Need to get something going. The offense playing great. They're just not finding the back of the net. The defense has been all right, but definitely a very uncharacteristic night for Warren Hill, who hasn't been himself in the last few weeks.
Keota Peterson, Jamieson, Peterson again over the top, not on goal. Feed absolutely manhandles his way into another possession for the Thunderbirds. Mentioned their struggles on the power play. It's been good tonight for Halifax. And nearly picking the short side with Shanks. Peterson to the side, and Rose. Terrific save on Jamieson. Quick play, shorthanded up the floor. Rock going to get to the loose ball too. They do. Look at that tenacity from Schreiber, doing everything in this first half for Toronto.
More than just a goal scorer, he'll get his nose dirty and grab some loose balls.
And why not try from there? Pretty much everything else has gone in.
And a little nugget from our friend Adam Levy. 8 hat tricks for Tom Schreiber in that's 9 now in 15 games. He only had 15 in his first 52 games of his career.
Better with age as Harris sprints up, makes a move, and nearly beat Bold low on that far side. Desnew enjoying the time that is pouring off the clock. And Toronto will melt this one down, readjusting their PK after Halifax finding some traction on the power play. Long ranger by Craig, shrugged aside by Bold, and Dawson out of the box. Toronto killing that one off. 3 shots for the Thunderbirds. They try to claw their way back on the board before the guaranteed rate halftime report shows up. Shanks. Over to Keogh, knew he lost it, just takes care of the man, letting someone else grab the ball. That's Boucher, bouncer, and a stop with the wickets closed by Rose. Slade biding some time here. It wasn't the offense that stole the show in the Toronto win last week, Pat. It was their defense in transition. Offense looks consistent tonight. Another opportunity, this time Bold settling in.
It's a great read by Bold. That's one thing, despite being the backup the majority of this season, he dissects so much film from Monday to Friday. It's unbelievable how much work he puts in.
No one's stopping that one from Dawson Theed, who tries to spark the Thunderbirds late in the second.
One of the bright spots for the Halifax Thunderbirds during this rough spell for the club has been Dawson Theed, who they picked up from Panther City. And this is exactly why they've had their eyes on him. He's a big body, but he can absolutely shoot the rock. As you'll see there, no one slides to him, so he's going to make no mistake. Clark Peterson getting another point there. As the former Whippy Warrior cuts this lead in half.
2 goals in Calgary last week for Theed, now on a 5-game point streak. And that was someone Halifax identified with some roots in Rochester as well, as things get a little heated just ahead of leaving the floor in Hamilton. Love this rivalry for NLL Game of the Week on TSN. Reminder to stay tuned for the Guaranteed Rate Halftime Report. Actually, we'll have a player interview. Pat and I will break down the first half of action. There's been plenty there. We'll go coast to coast to look at the playoff picture as the chase for the championship continues. Enjoying the front row seat to this playoff type battle. Thunderbirds just not going away. That goal by Theed stops 5 straight goals from Toronto. Shanks. Jamieson. Piece of that by Rose. Austin Shanks. Feed off the bench. Stolen. Harris on the move. Scoop. And nearly buries. What a transition play that was for one of the hottest guys carrying a stick for the Rock these days.
Mentioned it off the hop. He led Toronto in scoring last week with 5 points as a defender out the back door. Are you kidding me?
Vanella thought he had one booked. Rock, stingy defense, and they'll earn another possession.
He's just got to shoot that ball earlier. I know it was in an awkward spot on the floor, but he's a skilled player. He can throw a twister. He can go behind the back. Just kind of overthinking things right now is Halifax's offense.
Mans just puts one on near the end of the shot clock.
Aaron Bold looking pretty strong so far since coming in relief duty.
We've seen good from Halifax, haven't seen their best yet. They're trying to warm things up. Battle back on the board. Peterson, nice moves, and Rose makes that look easy. Bushi. Peterson. Keogh. Log jam. That went away, but call on that play from Bushi. Craig biding his time. Now a quick strike, long range though. Bold will scoop that one up and send him right up the floor for Halifax. Gillies and a left arm stop by Rose. Sense of urgency certainly seems to be implied here by Halifax. Jamieson, nice move to get into the middle. Shot not on target. And the Rock, frustrating Halifax right now. Harris bullies his way in and couldn't pick the low portion. Tell that's a confident move right there from Latrell Harris.
Bull dodges his way through his man and gets that shot off, but Aaron Bold again looking strong.
Bold has been very good since coming in, and here's a swift move. Peterson, who turned off the gravity. Nice move and nice goal by Clark Peterson.
Are you kidding me? Clark Peterson with an individual effort dangles through 2 defenders, runs out of space. But it's no problem as he crease dives and put this one right over the shoulder of Nick Rose, who's been virtually unbeatable at points tonight. Peterson with his second goal, and that one's even nicer than the first.
22 on the season. Just keep thinking Halifax looking for some sort of role to be established here. Maybe this is what nudges them into it. Late in the second, Shanks won't beat Rose. Rebound, no dunk option available. Rough ride instead for Jamieson. DeSnew. Man's on the move. Rogers, Mans, stop, rebound. Oh, it was right there for Dan Dawson.
And just of note, I know Toronto Rock fans have their eyes close to the Buffalo-Georgia game. The Bandits up 10-6 late in the first half.
Banditland trying to secure Eastern Conference title and trying to secure a comeback. What a goal by Boucher. Thunderbirds have 2 in a row.
20th goal on the season for Chris Boucher, and he has been just a source of consistency when he's in the lineup. He's been in and out trying to find a spot. And when you're scoring goals like this, how could you not? Throws that beautiful pick on Harris's back, frees up some space. Great feed from Austin Shanks, and in tight, Boucher tiptoes, and bam, right in the back of the net. Huge fist bump. As you said it, lacrosse is a game of runs. Maybe this is Halifax now going on their run to close this to a 2-goal game.
Last 2 pretty goals certainly provide a spark. Hossack. Bell, oh, nearly lost the twig. Grabbed that, but ball didn't stay in there. And the Rock will take a timeout on the floor.
Latrell Harris getting the better of his cousin Tyson Bell. Both these guys have a ton of family and friends from St. Catharines in the building here tonight. Special night for that family. But the genes in that family are very strong with those 2 tremendous lacrosse players and others across the NLL.
Buffalo looking to seal the deal to be the East champs if they can prevail. Toronto trying to secure a home playoff game and that second seed. Halifax wants to officially punch their ticket. If the Thunderbirds win, all of a sudden the conversation opens to maybe them hosting a home playoff game perhaps. So lots to be decided. And then of course, who would draw the first seed and who might be a wild card.
And that's one of the things here with that wild card, with there being less teams in the West. The 5th team in the East, if they have a higher record than the 4th team in the West, they'll actually have a crossover.
One of the things that Teddy Jenner, Brad Challoner will discuss in our Guaranteed Rate halftime report. So we go coast to coast with those 2 fine gentlemen and Mr. Pat Gregoire as well. 2 goals in 40 seconds for the T-Birds. Toronto trying to grab that last piece of momentum perhaps before the half is through. Bold denies any thoughts of that and trying to play for the empty net. Just had 1 bounce. That might have been in before the buzzer. Halifax battling back late in this half.
And that's what you want to see from a team that is battling for their playoff lives, not giving up. But Aaron Bold really starting to settle this defense down.
Toronto has been able to jump out in front and look to be in control, but the Thunderbirds put a pair past Rose in spectacular fashion near the end of that second quarter to grab some momentum heading into the half. We are not anywhere close to done yet in Hamilton.
Ready? Yeah. 5, 4, 3. Tom, a first quarter riddled with a lot of special teams power play opportunities. How difficult can it be to work yourself into a rhythm in the second after that?
I think it's just part of the game, and we have to stay focused and we have to execute, whether it's power, we're short, we're even. I think rolling with those punches will be key to getting a win today on either side.
Well, a quick start, something that you guys have been looking for and emphasizing, but a big push here by Halifax. What do you guys need to do on the offensive end to be able to kind of thwart the push that they're going to make in the second half?
Yeah, that's an excellent team over there, and they're certainly not going anywhere, and we have ourselves a tight game, and I think limiting transition will be big for our offense, and continuing to be smart and can our shots, but I think if we can limit them in transition, we'll put ourselves in a good spot.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
You got it.
Perfect.
Okay. It's a guaranteed rate halftime report on our NLL Game of the Week on TSN from Hamilton. 4 goals in the first and 4 goals in the second have Toronto with an 8th spot on the board, but the Thunderbirds aren't going away, and they proved that near the end of that first half of action as well. One of the stars in that first half for Toronto is Tom Schreiber, and he's standing by with our Ashley Docking.
Tom, a first quarter riddled with a lot of special teams, power play opportunities. How difficult can it be to work yourself into a rhythm in the second after that?
I think it's just part of the game, and we have to stay focused and we have to execute, whether it's power, we're short, we're even. I think rolling with those punches will be key to getting a win today on either side.
Well, a quick start, something that you guys have been looking for and emphasizing, but a big push here by Halifax. What do you guys need to do on the offensive end to be able to kind of thwart the push that they're going to make in the second half?
Yeah, that's an excellent team over there, and they're certainly not going anywhere, and we have ourselves a tight game, and I think limiting transition will be big for our offense, and continuing to be smart and can our shots, but I think if we can limit them in transition, we'll put ourselves in a good spot.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Already 3 goals for Schreiber on the night in pursuit of 50 on the season. More first half highlights and a breakdown when we come back to our guaranteed rates halftime report.
Off and then tee me up for this as well.
Got it. And then down to Ashley. Okay. Okay. Do you want to chime when I say Buffalo up on Georgia?
Sure.
You want to chime? Do you want to chime in?
Yep.
Okay. 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 Perfect. Welcome back to the Guaranteed Rate Halftime Reports. Standings at this time of the year, oh so tight. And there is plenty to play for yet. You can see that there is still spots up for grabs and still conferences to be decided. One of those in the East, Buffalo taking on Georgia. That's a big game, which might play out to a possible effect on this one. And it is the Bandits continuing to hang in there, looking for top spot in the East, Pat.
Yeah, they want that first seed in the East and overall in the league so they can get playoff home floor advantage all the way through. But Dane Smith also chasing history, 6 points tonight. He's trying to break his own record of most points in a single season.
Crazy, yeah, he's going to play right to the bitter end, and a big game for Calgary and Vancouver as well. John Abbott, Pat Gregoire with you for a Guaranteed Rate Halftime Report. And Pat, that was a very eventful first half. Toronto certainly likes the way that they started, pretty consistent all the way through. Halifax found a spark, though, and there was lots of pretty goals to enjoy also.
It was a wild first half, and Toronto, a team that normally starts a little bit slow, came out firing out of the gates, and it was Dan Craig, who's having just an unbelievable season so far. Scores 2 goals here. That first one's a beauty. This one's a little more vintage Dan Craig with an absolute howitzer from the outside. But a very, very selfish, undisciplined penalty by Billy Ostrauser gives the Thunderbirds a little bit of a jolt on the man advantage. They scored 2 on the major, and that's exactly what the doctors ordered for Halifax as Jamieson gets the second one here. That power play has just been struggling all season long. They finally got it going, though, John.
Last time these two teams met, it was overtime, and the game within the game mattered a lot. It might tonight again.
It absolutely will. Face-offs matter. Right now, Jake Withers holds a 10-6 advantage over TD Erlin, but both these guys doing absolute work, and low center of gravity certainly helps. Both these guys in high school were wrestlers. That certainly helps when it comes to the face-off game, John.
Well, you can see the power on display there. And speaking of power and finesse, Tom Schreiber enters that category.
The Schreiberian assist is what he used to be famous for. We're going to have to figure out a name for these beautiful goals as he's chasing the elusive 50th goal. Be just one of few members of the Toronto Rock to ever score. Brett Hickey the last to do it. But he's well on his way, isn't he?
Pretty tight after everything's said and done. After 2 quarters in the books between these two teams, that would be a first-round playoff matchup if they started today. For more on the outlook of the postseason, let's join Ashley Docking.
Thank you so much, John. All season long, Devin Caney has been taking us coast to coast, but in her absence, today's halftime feature features 3 familiar faces that you all should know by now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to halftime, and this is a halftime coast-to-coast special. I'm Teddy Jenner, joined by Brad Schauner and Pat Gregoire. Gentlemen, we have 4 teams in the chase for the championship confirmed already: Buffalo, Toronto, San Diego, and Colorado. But we still have to figure out who the other 4 teams are going to be. So let's try and break it down. Brad, who do you think the next team, or maybe who do you think is a team that is going to secure one of those spots?
You know, I think in the West, I think Calgary's the no-brainer right now. Look out for the Calgary Roughnecks, who are heating up at the right time. But in the East, I'm looking at the Philadelphia Wings. They've had such sort of they've overcome adversity this season. They've been through such a roller coaster. They struggled scoring goals at one point. Zach Higgins got injured early in the season, but he's really starting to heat up right now. Their offense is starting to find their game with the addition of Kyle Jackson. Their defense is tight, and I really trust what Paul Day can do on a game plan against a number one team, whether it's a crossover team in the West or if it's a team in the East. I think the Philadelphia Wings are heating up at the right time. They've got a winning record on the road, so traveling is no problem for these guys. Look out for Philly.
I think you're right, Brad, and I think it's a no-brainer that Calgary gets in. They're playing their best lacrosse at the right time. Unfortunately for the Western Conference, I think that's going to be it. Yes, Halifax is reeling right now, but they have one of the easiest schedules remaining after their game against a tough opponent in Toronto. They take on two non-playoff teams. You already mentioned how well Philadelphia is playing and how of a great storyline that is there. So Georgia, again, they're sitting in fourth right now. There's a good chance that they will grab one of those spots. I just don't see a world where those remaining teams that I mentioned in the East fall out of that fifth spot. And unfortunately for Panther City and Vancouver, they were off to such hot starts. We saw Panther City, really put stuff together. The loss last week, the way it happened, I think that was the nail in the coffin.
I think whoever wins between Philadelphia and Albany this weekend will get that fifth spot. A few weeks ago, I had a hot take that said there'd be 4-4 in the playoffs, East-West. As Patty, you just mentioned, I think that is going to be a non-factor anymore. I think Albany beats Philadelphia this weekend. Albany gets that fifth spot. They cross over. They've already done some good things against the West this year, so I expect them to have a healthy playoff run. That has been your halftime coast-to-coast special report. Enjoy the rest of your game.
Lots to enjoy in Hamilton. The matchup. Oh, and those Easter goodies as well. Always hopping. We'll bounce into our second half when we come back.
All right, now we're going to go to one smoke dance. Take it away.
Welcome back to Hamilton for our NLL Game of the Week on TSN. John Abbott, Pat Gregoire, along with Ashley Docking, Mackie Jenner, being traded to what should be a very entertaining second half, considering what's at stake. That man helping pace Toronto in the first.
Just unbelievable things that we're seeing from Tom Trebry. He's revolutioned his game into a sharpshooter. And speaking of guys who could shoot the rock, Austin Shanks, his stick is starting to heat up, and they're going to want to go back and claw back into this game. 33 is going to have to pot a couple of more.
Well, the Thunderbirds ended the second quarter with back-to-back goals to stop the Toronto run. Peterson and Boucher in dynamic fashion. Still waiting for that Thunderbirds group to emerge consistently in the game. Going to try and swing one right into Rose to start, making the stop. Peterson on the ball again. There's some fight from Halifax to get that back. Jamieson navigates to some space.
And if you're going to win loose ball battles like that, you don't mind Clark Peterson trying to sneak one on the backdoor side.
Looked like it was read perfectly for Theed. Pass just off its mark. And Toronto will take the possession after it looked like Halifax was poised to set something up. Driver in tight. Rogers a little how do you do, and Bold stopping that one. He's been a catalyst for Halifax since coming in for Warren Hill.
11 stops since coming in. He's already bested Warren Hill's effort of 8 saves.
Vanel can't find the handle. And you think about a game where Halifax is trying to book a ticket into the postseason by needing to find some traction in the win column, and you would not equate that with Warren Hill not finishing said game. Schreiber. Mans. Shoots, a little bobble ball by Bold, and nearly some loose change to find for Craig. Couldn't tuck it in. Campbell gives way to Jamieson. Clock winding down on Halifax. Off the bench, a skipper sails wide. Thunderbirds might get it back. They do. Have to hurry still, though. Keogh makes a move, slices, dices, and Rose able to get the right pad on it, excuse me.
Almost 30 saves in that first half for Nick Rose, and a couple of 10-bellers, but it's just so calm, cool, and collected when it comes to Nick Rose in between the pipes.
Rogers cuts through some hacks and whacks. Mans over. Craig scores! He just keeps getting better.
And that's the first save Aaron Bold has let in, and it's an absolute beauty. We'll see the ball get down to the lefties. It's a strong, look at this, little fake. And to be able to stay out, but look at Craig. He sent what it looked like was going to be a pick, John. Instead, it's a fake pick. And Tyson Bell just completely bites on that. And all alone is Dan Craig. He gets pushed, but still has the body control to stay out of the crease. That's an athlete right there.
Hat trick for Craig, and Shanks on the far side in significant trouble. That is not what the Thunderbirds want to see. And he's going to need some help.
No doubt about that, John. If you're a Thunderbirds fan, that's something you do not want to see. We'll get a look here in the top left of the screen. And Jamieson Dilks pops him right in the midsection area. They do wear kidney pads, but there is a little bit of a soft spot there, and That's the second time we've seen Austin Shanks get blown up with a blindside hit. This time, though, no penalty on the play.
Shanks will tough it out, try to shake it off, get back on the floor. Thunderbirds need him, to say the least, as they try to regenerate some offense here. Thee getting it going to Keogh, looks down low, swings up top, Fennell to the side. Peterson off the glass. Back up top, Thee. Put that right in the outstretched stick of Harris, and he's just gonna truck his way up the floor. Harris gets it back, loses it. Nearly played it to himself for a good look. A little slower this time in the approach for Halifax. Jamieson.
Nungo Thompson with the green light to stay on offense.
And Rose barely moved to make that stop. Efficient and excellent tonight for Rose thus far. Peterson, some daylight behind the back, looking for the quick stick for Boucher. Well covered in front. Dilks was the man that had him. A rocket sails high. Halifax needing to make the most of the swings in possession. Brock. Peterson, Keogh. Down deep. Fennell. Shanks back out there on the rotation, and Rose felt it in his feet, somehow turned it out with the back of the right heel.
Great slide there from Jake Withers. See where the recovery is. No, that's just perfect executed defense by Halifax.
Good stop. Nice push by Bold. Craig looking for his fourth. Dan Craig had a little bit of room. Goes back to the outside. Now lets it rip, and a stop by Bold. Cameron Bold has been wonderful for the Thunderbirds. Hossack, lots of room. They'll take it off the outside of the post. Pick set to Snoo. Nearly an assist off the ball by Cree. That would have been fun for the marvelous defenders of the Toronto Rock. Dan Craig matching Tom Schreiber with 3 apiece in the game. What a play by Craig. Tangerine Raptors playoff basketball action continues on Mondays. The Raps and 76ers tip it off for Game 2 in Philadelphia. Coverage begins 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on TSN. And right now, Raps trailing the 76ers 124-104 in the fourth. Don't tell that guy. Glad you're with us for our NLL Game of the Week on TSN.
Fortunately, didn't have the Raps plus 22, so.
Rogers, Dangle scores! The captain puts on a show.
Challen Rogers can do it all. The two-time Transition Player of the Year has turned into quite the stud out the O-door. An unbelievable individual effort. We'll see the ball get swung to the righties, and it's Challen Rogers with that patented jab step, throws a couple of fakes and absolutely burns by Tyson Bell before hammering that one home for his second goal of the game.
17th of the season. For more on Challen wearing the C, let's go to Ashley Docking.
Yeah, you guys, Challen Rogers said he absolutely feels confident in his defensive unit that they are fielding here today and for this season. As we see him score again, I believe. I'll give it to you, John, and you can get back to me after.
Well, you didn't have to, do you? You were doing great, Ash. Yes, Rogers scores again. And another beauty from the captain. Yeah, I'd say he's feeling confident.
Last shift, he stuffs Tyson Bell in his back pocket, and this time we'll see him get marked up against Graham Hossack and out-muscles Graham Hossack. Yeah, you heard me. And then puts him in the spin cycle before beating Aaron Bold. Little fake spin. And again, look at those feet. He gets so close to the crease and finishes. Ashley, take it away on Challen Rogers.
Well, we were talking about the confidence that he has in his transition game and his defense, but he felt pressure to contribute in the transition game in years past. Now his team is picking up the slack. Latrell Harris, Brendan Slade, Mitch DeSnew, and so it gives him a little bit of relief when he's called on to play a little bit more offense in the absence of some of the Rocks players that are dealing with injuries, guys.
Right on time, Ashley. Thank you for that nugget. He had part of the hat trick call, so have to let Challen in on that. Schreiber. Making a run. Dawson over, quick stick. What a goal by Dan Craig.
Breakout player run of the year, Dan Craig. I certainly have to think so. John, that's 8 points for him, and we're just about halfway through the third quarter. Little shovel feed from Schreiber, and Dawson finds Craig on the back door knocking. Quick stick, bam, right in the back of the net. This is just perfect executed ball movement. The hottest team in the National Lacrosse League continues to heat up.
Toronto went on a run in the second. 4-goal run at that time. Back to a 4-goal run here in the third to lead it 12-6 and double up the T-Birds. They have looked to be in the driver's seat most of the ball game thus far. Hossack and co trying to change that. And Rose just makes it look simple. Jubenville hits the deck. Not done yet against Bell. Stretches the arm out and then ties up one of the boys. Got some more, and Bell's got to be careful here as the Thunderbirds try not to go to the box. Toronto putting together the quick strike offense. Schreiber wondered where he was going to go. It's been his night, so he tried it.
We've seen him take shots from worse angles on the floor, so why not unload there, especially when you have 1 second left on the clock. But for Halifax, that's a good defensive stand. Maybe you can start to build some momentum here and get back on your own run.
Off the pipe for Keogh. Wanted that one bad. Thunderbirds are a good team. They're struggling right now. They still had their looks. D tries to skip one through, or pardon me, Jameson tries to skip one through.
Well, it's tough to rack up wins when your franchise goaltender is not playing like a franchise goaltender. That's certainly the case here tonight as Warren Hill was chased, and Bold has looked pretty solid. He's letting a few in the last.
Crease dive, no go that time for Craig. Well, lots of play for Halifax. They go out and they make a decision as Campbell tries to burst his way out of the scene to strengthen their offense at the trade deadline by acquiring Sean Evans. That was a tight-knit group, not always easy, even though it looks like it from the outside, to go and add a highly offensive player. One of the legends in the league, and it still looks like they're trying to gel around that move.
And that's the thing, John. Just sometimes when you add a good player, doesn't mean it automatically is going to make your offense better. With the game of lacrosse, there's just so many different styles of players, and if it doesn't fit the system, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to automatically work.
And Toronto is playing one of their best games of the season. So Halifax is having a hard time, but that's a talented team on the floor, and Toronto is playing superb right now.
Been the hottest team in the NLL since the end of January, and they just continue to look better and better.
Call away from that shot. Rose to the bench as Dawson hit the floor. Schreiber directing traffic. That would have been a thing of beauty. Can try that on a delayed call, and now the Rock to the power play.
It's going to be Nungo Thompson who threw Dan Dawson down to the turf, so he'll sit down for 2 or less.
Rock on the run again. Thunderbirds trying to slow them down, but it's hard when the captain pulls up moves like this. Tonight's Turning Point is presented by Fanatics.ca, and we'll point back to the 2 goals in 17 seconds, Pat.
The captain doing it all, puts the team on his back, and his last goal there on the 3-time Defender of the Year, stuffs him in a locker to score his hat-trick goal. We talked about this, John, man. This team just gets better and better every time they touch the turf. Starting to get Team of Destiny vibes I don't know.
We know they want that home playoff game bad, do the Toronto Rock. Thunderbirds just trying to right the ship after they were one of the teams just blazing out of the gates along with Buffalo. Not an easy task against the Rock to try and find it, who go to the power play. Schreiber has unreal totals, nearly added to it, but Bold able to fight his way to a stop on that one. Dawson helps reset. Look at that pretty move, a fake forward. Behind the back, Mans sees the possession end in his stick.
A great block by Luke Magnan. Again, I mentioned how key he is on the PK, but he's also a vocal leader, not wearing a letter on his chest, but you better believe he's a part of that leadership group that's going to try to dig this team out of a hole heading into the postseason, mind you, if they make the postseason at this rate.
9 shorthanded goals for the Thunderbirds. Could use one here as they try to generate something. Fennell went up top. Actually had some room on that left side of Rose, but not to be this time for the T-Birds. Rock up top. Rogers. Schreiber. Challen again. Out of the stick of Schreiber. 5 to shoot. Rock won't get it off. Thunderbirds will try to take the rest of this power play away.
Just tremendous rotation there, and it starts with Scott Campbell sliding early, disrupting everything, but everyone else recovers, and it's just perfectly executed on the PK.
Still loads of time in this game, but the way Toronto is playing, even those outbursts from Halifax don't seem like enough right now as Jamieson puts one on.
Yeah, it's
They're gonna have to work hard for this comeback.
It's that counterpunch that we always see from Toronto. We'll see Halifax go on a little bit of a run, but it's not a long one as they'll stop the bleeding, and that's just a resilient group that we're seeing in the Toronto Rock.
Dawson. He'll take some licks, cuts to the net. Oh, I wanted that one bad.
When you're getting your looks, when you're Halifax, it's got to be so frustrating when you just see Nick Rosen there standing in the net, so calm, cool, and collected, just stopping everything in his tracks.
Jamieson almost out of frustration tried to will that one into the back of the net. You can just tell in his body language. Harris. Now to Rogers. He's being tugged on by Hossack. Captain getting an extra little bit of attention. Schreiber, nice move. Nearly got Bold crossed up, moving in the other direction. Thunderbirds trying to adjust. Keogh nearly found the handle. Rose just enough that time.
Stephen Keogh's just snaked it. We've seen him hit a couple of posts, a couple of unfair bounces his way, just not able to find the back of the net. Buffalo right now up 14-7. Dane Smith with 8 points. He's chasing his record of 137 right now. He's sitting at 134. Unbelievable stuff.
That's points in a season.
Yes.
Pretty crazy when you're outbesting yourself and the rest of the league. Near the end of the third.
When he set that record, everyone was saying, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch that for a long time. Sure enough, it's the great Dane Smith who's going to break that record.
Nice little fake to create some room. Couldn't pull that one off. Thunderbirds ended the half with 2 quick ones to stop the Toronto run. And Halifax hoping they've saved their best lacrosse for the fourth. Dawson looking up. Quarter gonna expire. 5 left in the quarter. One last shot. Schreiber. Okay, I lied. They might get another. And that'll do it for the third quarter. Toronto continues its dominance on the floor and on the board.
This has been an unbelievable stretch that we've seen from Toronto, but you mentioned it, Halifax, they're a team that can come back in the fourth quarter. Toronto's gonna want to put the foot on the gas.
Thunderbirds cannot be happy with their lot in life in this game. Too much to play for to get frustrated. They'll try and put skill on display, and we are in for a treat of a fourth in our NLL Game of the Week on TSN. Rock have a 12-6 lead over the Thunderbirds heading into the fourth. Let's go down to Ashley Docking to set the stage.
Thank you so much, John. Scott Campbell and Jake Withers have a really wonderful friendship and admiration for each other that is mutual. Speaking with Scott Campbell, he said, of course, Withers is known as a face-off guy, but he's a top 5 defender in the league. He is very, very good. He also said that, you know, you might just talk to Jake and think he's a normal guy, but in his words, once you peel back the layers of Peterborough, Withers is shockingly smart. For Jake's part, he says Campbell was welcoming and funny since he got drafted in 2017. Always has a dad joke, and especially coming into his first year, that locker room, you have to remember, Jammer, Billy D, some intimidating guys. He said Campbell is always coming through with some reassurance. In times like this when they're down, he provides the option to have no panic on the bench, guys.
Love it, Ashley. Thank you. And that's the mentoring that was done between the quarters. Pat, as we saw both teams gather to the benches, and Withers and Erlin, no one budging. Set up, wouldn't you know it, from Withers to Campbell.
16 seconds chewed up off the clock with those two Warriors going toe-to-toe in the face-off circle.
Right for Bell there, but Thunderbirds keep the ball. See what Halifax has in store here. Rose makes that look easy. Said that a few times tonight.
It's just the style of play. He has the best angles in the National Lacrosse League. Certainly not the most athletic goalie, but he does have some sneaky athleticism to make some of those big pipe-to-pipe saves.
Man's up top. Craig. Protection leads to Mans, untouched and bold. Piece of that one to keep it out early in the fourth. That was a something out of nothing play, and even that is going right for Toronto. Halifax trying to push back. They've got the capability. Feed. Loose ball. Keogh! Robbed again.
Unbelievable. Nick Rose has the Thunderbird shooter's number. Again, another point-blank save from the veteran netminder. If you don't have him on your goalie of the year ballot, start thinking about rejigging that.
Bushi. Tripped up on the way in. That one won't go. Feed took a stumble.
Rose already with 40 saves on the night.
Schreiber. Over to Dawson. Nice move, draws a crowd. Couple extra shots in there as it moved up, and that's not what Halifax wants.
No, that's such a costly penalty from Tyson Bell. You do such a great job getting Dan Dawson into a vulnerable area on the floor. You've got the double executed perfectly. The horn sounds, and then that extra shot is just absolutely so backbreaking. And Tyson Bell's a player that plays on the edge, plays with a lot of grit, but sometimes he just crosses that line. And that is one of those cases there. Frustrations boiling over. Completely unacceptable for a veteran defender for the Halifax Thunderbirds.
So Toronto to the power play again. And not working with clock time if you're the Thunderbirds either. You might have to get aggressive.
You just read my mind.
Craig to the side. In tight man's. Blocked. And they wanted a quick up, but stole it. Craig. He can't believe it.
Dan Craig shaking his head, heading to the box. We'll hear Lee Grenier announce the penalty down on the floor.
Only 2 minutes for holding.
It's a great forecheck from Craig. I don't know. I think that's clean. I think that's a clean wrap check. Matt Sawyer just shrugs it off, whatever. And isn't that just the demeanor of Matt Sawyer? If they're up by 1,000 or losing by 1,000, you can't tell. He just stays so calm, cool, and collected.
Halifax and Jamieson. Rose taking one away there. Just the effort it's going to take to come back in this game. Rock putting on a show. Desnew! Decisive goal to make it 13-6.
Talked a lot about end of season awards. That guy right there, Mitch Desnew, certainly in the race for a couple, whether you want transition player of the year, defender of the year. When they acquired Desnew in the offseason, they knew he was going to be tough, aggressive, a strong defender, but I don't know if they knew he had this much offensive upside as he scores another big goal here for the Rock. He has fit so well on this already stout defense.
Thunderbirds are in need of a monster run. Feed, healthy pick there, gets it back, shoots, denied behind Rose. Are you kidding me? Nick Rose.
Even when you get a clean look, he's still coming up with stops. He's an absolute momentum killer.
Bushi shakes off a high hit. Peterson tries to sneak one through a screen. Not going to be able to leg this out. Pat, let's go back to that overtime loss in this building for Halifax's second win over Toronto. It was a 14-13 finish, but the Rock felt they deserved to win or put themselves in position for that win. Thunderbirds, at the time, they were just blazing hot.
And they kind of felt that that was a turning point in their season. They felt like, you know, we can't just be happy with the effort. The results have to come. And yes, they felt sorry for themselves. And that's when they said, if we're now starting to feel sorry for ourselves, that's an issue. And that completely changed the trajectory of the season. 9-2 since that point, as we see Tyson Bell and Dan Dawson get into it.
45, a minor for holding the stick.
Luke Magnan going to sit down here for a holding the stick penalty.
There's only going to be a shortened Thunderbirds window of opportunity on the power play, just a dozen seconds. That got taken away by that call, and now it's the Rock once again with an abbreviated man advantage. And half of the benefit for Toronto is this is taking time off the clock. Dunk! Denied by Bold. Toronto in the driver's seat. Everybody into the fray for this one. Mitch the Snoo getting offensive in Hamilton. Rock City, as they've dubbed it here in Hamilton, 10,047. Huge crowd enjoying Toronto up on Halifax 13-6. Let's bring you back to our NLL Game of the Week on TSN. Thanks for being with us. Thunderbirds with the ball. Trying to drum something up, short-handed. Fennell. Just great positional coverage there by Toronto. Shanks tries to reach around. Rock will take that, and they'll take the ball.
And that's the thing, obviously, normally when you're killing a penalty, you're okay with chewing up 30 seconds off the clock, but when you're down this much, you have to start to force the issue there. But just great man-up defense by the Toronto Rock. Nothing for Halifax to get going.
And they can take their time setting this one up on offense as well. Schreiber, now to Mans. Schreiber blocked in front. Hossack barely budges. Schreiber again right into the scoop for Bold. He'll try to sprint it up the floor. Withers gives way. Bushi. Keeps control. Shoots. Stopped by Rose up top. Halifax on their heels here. Power play continuing. Oh, quick stick. Set up. Power play over, long range, Dawson scores! Catching everyone sleeping. And Dan Dawson increases Toronto's lead.
We're getting a little bit of vintage Dan Dawson here tonight, scoring some goals, setting up some plays, getting into the rough stuff with Tyson Bell. But this one here, look, he's directing traffic. Hey, watch the guy coming out of the box. Slowly trots, he says, never mind. I'm just going to absolutely rip this one by Aaron Bold. Perfectly placed shot right between the legs of Aaron Bold. Bold clearly upset with himself for letting that one in. But that's just a veteran recognizing a good chance to take a shot.
A no easy recipe here, and 8 minutes left in the fourth. It's a big ask. What are the Thunderbirds looking at here, Pat? How do you crack this egg on the other side?
If I had the right answer, I think I'd be on a bench somewhere in the National Lacrosse League, because this is the hottest team in the NLL, and it's been led by their goaltending and defense. I think you just got to continue to push the pace.
And Fennell finally finds it. Trying to chip away. He's got one in the fourth for Halifax.
And you mentioned that, John. You're not going to score with a grand slam or a home run here. You just got to start chipping away. And even if you do fall short here, you want to see your club battle to the very end. They still have 2 more games remaining on the schedule. But look, great feed by Jamieson. And Jubenville's draped all over Fennell. Fennell showing off his field lacrosse skill set from his days at Ohio State. Just backs off his man and takes that shot, making this a 14-7 game.
Fennell, one of the guys they certainly rely upon for supportive scoring. He's been around it tonight.
And John, Mazuka took the face off there, so I think Toronto is just going to allow Jake Withers to win the face-off, and he's just going to try to take away the fast break off the face-off.
Interesting strategy. Toronto in position to make that type of a call right now. Still doubling up the Thunderbirds on the scoreboard. And Jamieson knows he's out of time and out of luck on that possession.
Just suffocating defense from Brad Cree. We talked about Latrell Harris, Mitch Desnew. Well, Brad Cree is right up there with those defenders. And in my personal opinion, has to be in the conversation for a Defensive Player of the Year as well. I'm just afraid, because they're all in the rock, those votes might get split.
Certainly spectacular players to watch week in, week out. Right now, Toronto looking airtight. Desnew. Dawson. Lots of time to take. 2 for Dan Dawson tonight. Thunderbirds on the move. Gillies dished it off. Fennell has the lone goal of the fourth thus far. Thunderbirds trying to change that. Nice save by Rose on feet down low.
I would love to know how many saves Nick Rose has right at that home plate, the danger area right in front of the net. He has been absolutely lights out. A big reason why Toronto not only playing outstanding here, and you mentioned it earlier, maybe their best game of the season, but just an unreal stretch over the last 12 games now.
Well, let's not forget the story in the chase for the championship, obviously yet to be completed for playoff positioning. But don't kid yourselves, these two teams know there's a strong chance they meet. And this is part of setting the table for the postseason. Toronto knew it coming in. They've been the better team most of the game up to this point. Peterson.
What a trail check from Latrell Harris. Put another check mark in the cause turnover category.
Harris, been the spotlight. More on him. Let's go to Ashley Docking.
Latrell Harris has been fantastic, and Challen Rogers said he is so proud of him, showing maturity on and off the floor. He said, he's my roommate, and I've got to watch his progression and confidence skyrocket, and he's finally figuring out what he's capable of. And to your point, Pat, Challen said he could be Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, Transition Player of the Year, all the things.
All the things, yes, that's a pretty good hat trick to be mentioned in. Thank you, Ashley. And the Rock just do not take their foot off the gas.
You mentioned it. There's a good chance we see these two teams meeting up in the first round of the playoffs. So Toronto wants to continue. But what about Phil Mazuka? Keep the ball out of the crease, and transition comes the other way. It's Dan Craig with another point. Finds Tom Schreiber, who's not going to score a more easier goal than that. Josh Jubenville throws that strong pick as well on the back of the defender. And just an all-out dominant performance from the goaltender to the defense, to transition, to offense. The Toronto Rock putting an exclamation mark here.
Thunderbirds, they've frustrated many teams in this league this year. The bench after that goal went in, slamming sticks, shoving the glass. This is a group in Halifax that are so talented, know what they have because of the wins in the bag this season, but just are not finding much of late. And the frustration starting to creep in.
And Halifax has to be smarter. They just saw Sheldon Burns run off the floor because his helmet got knocked off. They didn't execute when they had an extra man on the floor. And when it rains, it pours. It's just continuing this team just shooting themselves in the foot with undisciplined mistakes.
Rock back to the setup. Oh, shot blocked. That's a stinger. Thompson's in trouble as he's hobbling to that Halifax bench, and Thunderbirds trying to catch their breath. Don't have much time to come back in this one. Toronto in control. Tonight's save of the game is presented by Alterna Savings from, of course, Nick Rose.
Well, he had 46 of them, but I think these two right here might have been the best. He makes a great stop on Dawson Thied first. The rebound comes up, and it's that sneaky athleticism. We'll see the little kick save and a beauty by Nick Rose. 46 stops on the night. As we saw, he's done. So Riley Hutchcraft comes in to play mop-up duty as Nick Rose will enjoy the rest of his evening from the bench.
Back-to-back appearances at home for Hutchcraft. And what a night from Nick Rose. Thunderbirds, they just want to get some kind of symmetry going, but Toronto breaks up again. DeSnew. And they'll backpedal just a bit.
And I think this is now where you'll see Toronto slow things down.
Perfect for Neil Diamond in the background with the 10,000 plus in attendance enjoying a little bit of that.
I think it's safe to say Hamilton, Ontario has embraced this Toronto Rock team with open arms.
Well, it looks like they're about to make it 7-2 on the home floor, and that's why Toronto's so motivated to get back here.
They've been so good at home, and they know Halifax as well. They're another team that's played so well at home, not just this year, but in the COVID-shortened season a couple of years ago as well. So this was very important, not just for their team, but to take an advantage away from their potential opponent in Halifax.
Of the opponents Toronto's faced this year, Halifax is the only one they've seen more than once and haven't come up with a win yet.
Yeah, Halifax does hold the season series, even though they are going to drop one here tonight.
And don't you think that wasn't present as well in the minds of these Rock players?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. They have long memories, and they knew, we talked about this, that was a big defining moment for this group. 9-2 since that OT loss. They just continue to get better and better in all facets of the game.
Coverage right to the bitter end. And Hutchcraft steers one out. 7 to shoot. There's no air out there for Halifax right now.
DeSnew with another caused turnover. This defense, one of the best defensive units I've seen in quite some time for this Toronto Rock franchise.
12 on the clock for Toronto, 30 on the game clock. So they'll throw it away. It's a tale of two seasons. Halifax started hot and are now desperately trying to find their game before the postseason arrives. Toronto are about to rattle off their 4th straight win, and the Rock secure a home playoff game in the first round with a 15-7 dominating win over the Thunderbirds, and second place is theirs in the East. Last battle of this regular season, but
Billy Hostrauser on the floor at the end of the game, maybe setting the tone for the potential playoff series, the one-gamer that will potentially happen here in Hamilton against this team.
Well, Halifax not officially securing a playoff spot yet. Toronto kept them from that tonight. The Rock finished second in the East behind Buffalo and have the home floor advantage heading to the postseason with a dominating 15-7 win here in week 20 over Halifax.
And that man right there, 46 saves on the evening. Anytime there was some sort of momentum building for Halifax, it's that guy right there who made a big save. But there you see Toronto going to hold strong with that second seed. No other finals so far, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens with some of those other clubs. But so difficult now is the road for Halifax for the rest of the way.
We'll wrap it up from Hamilton when we come back. 15-7, the final for Toronto. NLL on TSN coverage continues next Saturday with a Game of the Week matchup between the San Diego Seals and the Saskatchewan Rush. Coverage begins at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, only on TSN. Plenty of highlights to choose from in this one, and part of the reason Toronto took over the game, never looked back, was the captain, Pat.
The Swiss Army knife, and this was a huge goal. It was tied, and Challen Rogers puts his team on his back, and this isn't a replay. Another huge goal from Rogers, just taking his man deep. And again, that's Graham Hossack, the three-time Defender of the Year, puts him in his back pocket.
One of the players of the game, the captain, Challen Rogers, standing by with our Ashley Docking.
Challen, congratulations on an amazing game, clinching a home playoff game as well. Do you feel like that's the most complete performance that you guys have put together so far this season?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think we had a great start, and usually we don't have those. So it was nice to start on time, and then what our defense did there in the second half, keeping them to a goal or two. You're going to win a lot of games if your defense is doing that, especially Rosie. What a game by them, and just great team win.
Yeah, it was suffocating, as John said. There's no air in the building for Halifax, he mentioned. What was it about Rosie that you think had him playing so well here tonight?
He was just dialed. I mean, started early. He was making some big saves, and you know, he didn't stop. I think our D was giving up, outside shots, and the ones when we had breakdowns, Rosie was there to stop us. Just unbelievable game by Rosie, and probably the best he's had all season.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. John, the best performance he's had all season. What do you guys think?
I'd say that's pretty good. And right when Toronto needed it the most, perhaps. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Challen. And Pat, this was a game telegraphed because it would potentially be a first-round playoff matchup. This is not the way things wanted Halifax to go, certainly from a Thunderbirds perspective, but my goodness, that was a dominating performance from tip to tail from Toronto.
No doubt about that. This is the most well-rounded team in the National Lacrosse League. I'll say it. Defensively, they're so stout. Nick Rose, when he's on his game, he's one of the best goalies in the league, and now this offense has just absolutely exploded. They're not in first, but I think this is a team that you ask any team in the playoffs right now, they are not going to want to play them.
Two teams moving in different directions. Toronto hitting their stride, trying to secure that home playoff berth, which they have done now. Buffalo, not a final yet, but they are winning, and so is Albany. So as the chase for the championship heats up in the final weeks of the regular season. Boy, it just continues to be interesting. This league is so captivating, so exciting. At the beginning, you think, well, Halifax, there's no doubt that this strong start's going to be able to propel them to the end. We know that picture's changed now, so they have some work to do, Pat, but this is a team that's still capable of providing that push.
Yeah, and there's 2 more games for them to punch their ticket into the postseason, and it's against 2 teams that are not in the playoffs, so they have some work to do. They're going to have to, cut those wrinkles out, but it's going to be a tough challenge, but there's still some time.
And indeed, Toronto can celebrate their 4th consecutive win, the biggest of their season over the Thunderbirds. As for what's next, well, those San Diego Seals can clinch a spot of their own with the coverage of our NLL Game of the Week next Saturday against Saskatchewan. Begins at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, only on TSN. What a head-to-head battle it was tonight. And Toronto putting everyone on notice around the NLL that they are peaking at the right time. What a performance from the Rock at home. That's where they've earned a chance to play in the postseason a couple of weeks before we get there next. But on behalf of Ashley Docking, Mackie Jenner, Pat Gregoire, I'm John Abbott saying thanks for watching our Game of the Week on TSN.